honestly, the second siren seemed like a saint compared to all the other sirens.
Oh, she was
All the
cool.
other sirens felt like bitches.
Hello and welcome. My name's Jay Yee, and with me today is my good old friend, Alexander Gonzalez.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And please remember that we are not game devs. How you doing today, Alex?
I'm doing all right, Jay. I'm not gonna say I'll try to take it back a little bit. I don't think Lilith's a bitch. She's very nice.
I just hate it. Absolutely, I cringe every single time when she calls you killer. And I'm like, don't do that, please.
I love how
Why?
they try to be familiar with a really unfamiliar sounding nicknames. Where they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey VH," and I'm like, "Oh, Vault Hunter."
See,
Okay.
VH is fine, but whenever Lilith's like, you got this, killer. You did great, killer. I'm like, Jesus, calm down.
Well, think about what we're doing though.
That's true.
Eventually I got a yellow weapon, and
Uh-huh.
it was this submachine gun, and it mowed through people. Like 3-round burst, everyone was just exploding all over the place.
But those are not the murders we are talking about today. Today, we are creating something new. Every week, We're Not Game Devs will create a new exciting video game that we have always wanted to play, but not have any knowledge or know-how to create the wonderful experience that are video games. Today is my turn to present We Are Not Game Devs 155th IP. Now, zombie games. There's been a bunch, and there will be
continue to be
a bunch more. And we're adding to that list. And I've made so many zombie games on this podcast, but we're doing it again. How this game's going to start is going to be kind of boring. I imagine it to be taking place as normal in some big house. It's in a big home full of zombies. You walk in, zombies everywhere. You go through places, there's going to be light puzzle aspects. Think Resident Evil. You're going from room to room, killing zombies. And I want to say gun ammo is available and easy to obtain, but you're going to run out if you get into a big fight. Let's say you get into like a big horde fight. You're going to use up all your ammo, but then you're going to get it back after you kill everyone and pick up ammo from their dead bodies. And maybe at the store, you'll buy some more. I'm also cool with there being light RPG aspects and getting perks and skills and all that stuff. Upgrades for your guns. Maybe there's a whole crafting mechanic to the game. Anyway, that being said, I want to say up until your first boss, most of the game seems like it's going to be a typical zombie game, except every time you kill a zombie, the zombie kind of explodes and their body parts go all over the place. But you're just going to be like, cool, the zombies explode when they die. That's cool. And then when you get to the first boss, you're going to notice this boss just kind of looks like a bunch of heads and hands and feet and abdomens just kind of mushed all together. The reasoning being is I want this game, every time you kill a zombie, when they blow up and their limbs are all over the place. And you could even watch this happen. I don't think you could stop it. Like, I don't think you could kill the arm. But what's happening is all these pieces of the zombies are slowly trying to like get away. And they're all going towards one central area. And what they're doing is somewhere else on the map, combining their limbs and pieces to build a bigger zombie. And then eventually, after the first boss, you're going to have to fight these accumulated zombie part monsters that start coming after you. So that's the main focus that I want to focus on, where the whole game is about you mowing down all these zombies, but that only creates bigger, tougher, and more special zombies that probably have cool effects. If, like, let's say you get a zombie that's just all hands, maybe they like grapple you or something. Like they're like a tank zombie that grapples you and like sucks the life out of you when they grapple you. That's what I got. What do you have for me, Alex? You're thinking. I see that.
Yeah, I was letting you do your thing. it's a zombie with all hands is going to be way better than just grappling. Here, really quick, as you describe your idea back, I need to get my dog one more time, but I've got so much to unload on you. You guys don't even know.
All right, Alex. Alex has thoughts. We'll wait for Alex to get back. Until then, I'll vamp a
Sorry
little bit.
about that.
He's back. He's back.
My dog was barked at by another dog. So what happened here is this. I think you should be able to shoot the limbs because you're going to kill so many zombies that there's no way you're going to get all the limbs anyway. So if you shoot a couple, you could. And I think it would be funny if someone understood the game and was like, I'm shooting every foot I see. All I know is this boss is not going to have any fucking feet. So
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
So what's going to change with these final bosses is one, it's going to be the locomotion. So if you have a zombie that's all hands and abdomens, you're going to see things where it does a bunch of cartwheels, and it can even like cartwheel up walls because it's always grabbing onto things. And I think that'd be really cool for locomotion. Attacks, I think that's where you're going to say that it can shred people, grab you with a bunch of hands. I think
wield a bunch of swords and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Throw a bunch of things at you.
Yeah.
And then weaknesses. So because it always has more of one thing, it has a lack of another. So that could be senses, or maybe it's very sensitive in another way. So I think this is a kind of cool idea. There's going to be a lot of moving parts during. And
real quick before we get further, because most players don't know about this mechanic when they first start the game, the first boss is always going to be the same. Even if it's your second playthrough and you start killing the limbs prematurely, I think the game will just be like, oh no, the first boss is always going to be this kind of boss. You can't like start a new game plus and kill all the legs, and then that first boss you play won't have legs. Like the first boss is just going to be I can't think of it right now, but like in Persona, you fight that one persona that's like a bunch of faces and arms and legs coming out of it. It's just like a floating ball. That's essentially going to be the first boss, because it's just a setup to get the player to understand, oh,
yeah,
these zombie limbs move and piece together to make miniature bosses after that fact. They're going to be the boss. They're not going to be a boss, but they're going to be like a really tough encounter that's a random encounter that happens throughout the world if you don't take care of the limbs.
Yeah. And it'll just add things to the bosses that would make them harder to deal with. For instance, we go back to the hands. If you try to throw a grenade at the boss with lots of hands, they're going to catch it and throw it back. If you're trying to throw a grenade at a character with lots of feet, they're going to run out of the way.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to advance on you quickly. I think it's a cool mechanic to have where there's going to be different weapons that are more effective depending on what bosses you see.
Yeah, and I think after like the first boss that you beat, you unlock, maybe you don't unlock it after the first boss. Maybe you unlock this like halfway through the game. You finally unlock the flamethrower. And this is like the most efficient on limb extermination, where the flamethrower is what you use when you want to get rid of limbs so you don't have to deal with more of these miniature bosses or whatever along the way. And maybe for like the super zombies that are the alchemation of a bunch of things coming together, maybe near the end game, less and less are thrown at you because you have the flamethrower and you're getting limbs actively. That's like the end game content. So yeah, maybe like 75% through, that's when we introduce the flamethrowers. Do you run into less of those, but more other kind of zombies?
What if instead of flamethrowers, it ends up being something, this is really gross. So hear me out. What if you get to a place where you want to use a flamethrower, but it's the final level, and you reach a drawbridge, and this drawbridge is made entirely of human parts. So it's like arm over arm grasping each other from one end to the other, with two arms grasping the edges. and then like different abdomens on the bottom with feet for the strings. And then you
I
go
like
into
it.
there, and it's a whole village slash city of monsters that are all living together, but with extra parts. So
Hmm.
then if you use the flamethrower, everything melts together and you can't even get out. Or maybe you can. Maybe you melt through things. But it
Hmm.
could be a world like that, which is really gross. But of
No,
just
I
like,
like that being as maybe the last open
yeah.
instance, and there's just a bunch of different dudes around that have like maybe they're more sophisticated than the weird blobs that you've been fighting up until then, and they're more like dudes with 4 arms and they're like super muscular and strong, and then a dude
Hmm.
with like 2 heads and they'll like
And there can
outthink you
be,
or whatever.
yeah, and there can be like officers who maybe what these are the people who they have really complicated stuff, or they've only done they've never died. They've actually done surgeries to put on the
Mm.
best parts that they found.
Like maybe
Or
what it is,
maybe these are
it's yeah.
warriors who've taken the best parts from other warriors.
Or I was thinking like they've gotten rid of parts and let other parts come onto them. Like they'll like throw pieces off and then put others on, and like they've thoughtfully evolved themselves or whatever.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
I think that works. I was thinking about a bunch of different ways
Yeah.
that it could work, and then there can always be the puppet master, and that's
Hmm.
the guy who has one living heart with a hand, and then his heart travels from vessel to vessel, and then his boss fight is you having to either
Find
kill
the
him in
heart.
transit or kill. Yeah.
It's funny I think we had the same idea there where I thought the last boss would be like a heart. For me it was like a giant heart. But yeah, I like your idea better, but maybe what it is there's a bunch of hearts and he has them all over in all the zombies, and you have to like find the heart that he put his consciousness in, so he could like jump from zombie to zombie consciousness wise, and then when it goes to one you have to kill that zombies from in the heart, and it'll do like some damage to him, and then it'll keep going from there. um Maybe also during, let's say after the second boss, you get like a some sort of item that lets you track how many limbs got away, so you could know what to expect, what the makeup of the next hunter, we'll call them hunters, will be. So like if you've gotten rid of a lot of legs, there'll be like multiple bars on the right side of your UI where it's like this many arms, this many heads, this many torsos, this many legs, and it'll be like 0 legs, 44 arms, that's excessive, 20 arms, 18 torsos, and then it'd like
There's like
give
a
you
zombie with multiple arms. He has like a bow made out of skin. He's
yeah,
throwing like just getting instead of arrows, there's arms being shot at you.
yeah,
So it's
and they
like
like grab
fists.
onto you and try to fucking
Ooh, that'd
crawl
be
up
good.
and like
He does an arrow with an arm, and then it gets stuck to your face.
yeah,
And then
and it's
another
like
one holds
gouging
you
your
down on the
eyeballs and
floor.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe if that's gonna be a mechanic, there has to be a weapon that's more of like a melee weapon to get these things off of you. You know what I mean? Maybe your
Hmm.
main melee weapon, instead of being a knife or an axe or whatever, it's like a sickle, so you could like get things and like tear them off your
This game's gonna
face.
be so gross.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
What if do you want there to be elemental powers? For instance, like what if there's
oh,
one where
like
it's a blood
shock
boil?
power or
Yeah,
something.
so there's blood boil, which blows up limbs. There's festering, which dissolves them off of you. So let's say you're diseased and then it festers, so then the things have maggots and they just go away. Like you
Sure,
can make
I'm cool
zombies.
with that. Like
This is so
maybe,
nasty. Like, could you imagine you're making a zombie take damage over time because you're making them fester? So then insects start to grow on them, and like little
mm,
bot flies blow up from inside, and then other ones attack, creating more insects. So then when you kill a boss, more bot flies release and they attack different zombies.
yeah, maybe it's like I'm trying to make sense of why these elemental powers will be in the game in the
Okay.
first place.
And I'm thinking they're not even elemental. One is like insects and pestilence.
Yeah.
The other one would be, and that's an arise because you decide to use insects to help fight against these bodies. Another one could be blood control. So maybe you're armed with 2 syringes that draw blood out of the zombies to make them move slower, so it's more like a debuff. And you can put huh. And maybe you can use blood bullets and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, here, how about this as the story reasoning for all this? Maybe you are a uh let's say you're a news reporter. Let's keep it very tropey. You're a news reporter following up on a story about this scientific facility that is doing inhumane like experiments on human bodies with other animals and making chimeras of a sort, right? Mashing human bodies with animal parts to give humans superhuman powers, right? And
Mhm.
while you're exploring this scientific facility and fighting these zombies and these what's that complicated word that starts with the S? Scores
Wait, a complicated word that
Squir
starts with an S?
Sorsensberg? Scores I can't think of the word right now.
So there's abomination. What S word? What is it?
Smorzenberg?
Are you
Is
talking about smorgasbord?
Yeah, that word. You're fighting these thingy zombies and
It's usually
you find
related to food.
and you find like I guess like yeah, BioShock-esque or like Dead
Just
Space-esque.
nasty evolutions that maybe that are happening.
Yeah, like maybe like it's a syringe that you have to puncture into your heart, and every time you find these syringes, you see your main character in first person picking up the syringe, looking down at his chest, and just fucking stabbing it right into his chest and pulling it in. You know what I mean? Like the Dead Space thing where you plug it into your eyeball. Is that Dead Space? No, that's Prey, where you plug it
Okay,
into
I
your
was like, I
eyeball.
never.
We could have some kind of animation like that where you gotta inject it in, and it's super like visual and like visual and visceral
What if
and
he
like
has a port? Like,
but he's just
what
a
if all
random ass
zombies did?
newscaster, you know
Yeah,
what I
but what
mean?
if
Like
it's just like it's a different world? What if all humans have a port?
I kind of want it to be gross, and I think this is something different. Like this scientific in uh building was doing something that no one ever has done before. And when you get there, you find all this stuff, and maybe there's like a cute promo video on how to use these syringes, and that's like your tutorial. And it's like Fallout esque, you know what I mean, or Bioshock esque, where it's like a cute cartoon that teaches you how to do it, and then that's how you like learn how to do it.
I was thinking instead of that, since the way this game's going, do you want it to be cartoony? Because I was thinking you could do more like found footage. Like I'm not even thinking like nothing like Blair Witch,
Oh, are you
TikToks,
thinking like you find a videotape with the
like
syringe and it
TikToks, like social media stuff, where you find like a video, like you find like a box, like a or a syringe in a box, and it has a QR code, and you scan it, and then a video pops up.
yeah, maybe you find the finished product of some of the things that they're going to sell of these enhance your body or
And
whatever.
imagine it being very clicky, like, hey guys, so I found something really wholesome. It comes from the earth. You know, right now we're going through a scourge. It's affected me as much as it's affected everybody else. We all have our own struggles. Now, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but I found a syringe right here that, and then maybe she plugs it in, and then you see the effects happen, and then it just goes, shh.
And
Or
like
maybe it's good.
yeah, maybe that would be funny. That would be a weird, funny, like meta thing to put in where there's like these promo social media vids that are throughout. Obviously, this company failed, and these
Like
were
almost
like
like how whipped coffee began, you know, where they're like, try this out.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I imagine it's a company that went under, and all the promotional videos and sponsors and stuff that picked it up aren't heard of anymore. No one knows who these people are because this thing ruined their life, and all the promo vids that you see in the game are of like, yeah, social media personalities, and maybe they end up being the bosses that you fight at each
That'd be
level
good.
or whatever. And
Or a
their
couple of
main
them could be,
power,
they could be not even main bosses. Maybe some of them are mini bosses, some are main
yeah.
bosses, or some you just see out in the world.
Yeah, and like their main power would be whatever power they use to like inject themselves with. And then that we won't ever say that that's who they are, but you'll
Hmm.
notice that, oh, the person that has like the make their whole body electrical to give you like an EMP move, that's like that in that level, that's the boss's power that they do or whatever. And but we'd have to figure out why that power that your character can now use because of that syringe was going to be used conventionally in real life. Like why would having a whole electrical current through your body be beneficial to normal human beings? Charging your phone without a charger, you could just do it with your hand.
Exactly like that, where you could charge your phone, you can boost Wi-Fi signals and get better reception.
But what you're using it for is to get rid of hand arrows that are grappling at your face.
And make people confused who use a lot of eyeballs as sentries. Maybe what if there's these things where it's like a piece, like a hand on a building, and there's just an eye in the middle, or there's eyes on each finger. So there's little sentries looking out for you as you get advanced in the game, and those disorient
And
them.
like it like EMPs them down or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, sure. What benefit would that have in conventional life? Would it be more like
Boosted. This is a new world, so this isn't a world that you think. So like you would be able to plant a chip in you that gives you that you're able to charge your car, charge your phone,
oh
boost
shit.
signal. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. I like that where it's like we're making fun
It's
of
like
social media people.
it's like a not too near future, but that could be near. Where you're like, oh, in 30 years we could have gone that way.
Yeah, and like yeah, so cool. So like yeah, you're exploring a scientific institute that got shut down and you're a news reporter trying to figure out why it got shut down when they had all these products down the line and they've been having a lot of problems with the government because of
It's
like modifying your
imagine
body and genetic experimentation
yeah.
and all that stuff.
Imagine if like the Resident Evil virus got run through a little bit of American culture. You know what I'm saying? Where Raccoon City was a city in America with social media stars, and it ended up getting where this virus found its way in a bunch of different products. And then it's almost like even with the apocalypse, people were still trying to live normally.
Yeah. Cool. I dig it. And I don't think it broke out at this point. Like it's contained at the scientific institute at the time, but maybe the sequel it breaks out and then we get like a citywide thing.
Instead of a scientific institute, make it a college, a university. Because I want there to be students who are affected too, because students are the culture leaders. They're the ones who are
Well,
interacting with the pop
I would
culture.
expect what happened was the scientific institute brought TikTok stars or not TikTok stars, but
Social
social
media
medias to
influencers.
their institute, and that's when it all went wrong because they injected all these kids and famous people. I wouldn't say all kids. Let's say one of them is like a famous food guru and they're like a middle-aged woman or something and they injected her with like a fire power to help with her cooking. And then but like when they did all this, all shit hell like all hell broke loose in the institute and like everyone started getting infected and then now they have like they're shut down because everyone's infected and you're going there researching it. I just don't want it to be at a university because I don't think a university would be cool with genetic experimentation and all that stuff. But I think if it was a private institute somewhere remote, like maybe it's not even in America, maybe this is somewhere weird, like somewhere in Europe or something. I don't know.
Somewhere weird. Meanwhile, somewhere weird in Europe.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we got a general grasp on everything else. So, music. I mean, just creepy music, right?
Yeah, creepy music.
I
Where and then some actiony music here and there when you're battling a boss.
yeah.
Now, do you want it to be creepy as in like creepy as in cello or creepy as in opera, where it's like ah, Or is it like,
I
you know what
actually
I'm talking about?
hear creepy more like Dead Space creepy, where it's a lot of synths. And
Oh, there's that too.
because I think it's a little bit more futuristic and a little bit more not super futuristic. Like this is like you said, about 30 years from today. And I also hear the music being kind of more like the best way I could describe it is like how Danganronpa synths work, where Danganronpa synth has like a very like meh, like a very like high pitched
Hmm.
wavering sound to it that makes you feel uneasy because of the type of synth it is. So creepy synth electronica vibe to it, I think.
Right?
Pricing. How much are you willing to pay?
What does it look like? We don't know the graphics.
Oh, I think this looks disgustingly amazing.
So
Just
60 bucks. I'm gonna say 60.
gore, blood dripping, and just yeah, like
I'd say
realistic
60.
skin. I'd say 70 now. I mean, 70 is
70
the
realistic skin. Okay.
new norm.
I think I can
Ray
see the
tracing.
shaved and chafed hair follicles on that abdomen.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Alex. It's time to start your timer because it's time to name this game.
Okay, and let's start it now.
I said it earlier and I thought it would be a great name for this game. Let's call it Chimera.
Chimera it is at 6 seconds.
All right, Alex, give us a overview of Chimera.
Chimera is a game where you play in a zombie infested world not too far from the present, where there are different human mutations that have evolved to deal with this present as human bodies die and then live and then die and live again as body parts come together in Chimera.
All right, so I think we have a game here, Alex. What do you think? Would this be a game you'd want to play, and is it fun?
Yeah, I like this. There's the customizable aspect of the zombies. There's the powers. There's cultural commentary. I think zombie games are. I'm old, so it's weird. I think I came up during a time when I'd say college for me was zombie heaven. So it's not usually something I wade into, but I definitely want to do this. It'd be something to be fun.
Yeah.
Be a different take, a nice fresh take. I'm not just shooting zombies in the head.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Because there's going to be multiple heads you got to shoot at now. Maybe not even any heads at all. Real quick before we get into my takes on this game, because it's called Chimera, I think the very last boss, and you're not going to get any glimpses of it until the last boss. The last boss is going to be like a human mixed with other beasts and animals. It's going to be a true Chimera. And then the second game is when we start adding beast powers to the game, where like you're going to run into zombies, where it's going to be a human body with a boar head and he runs towards you because he has cheetah legs or something. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be crazy. The sequel is going to be amazing to this game.
Yeah, it's going to be almost like Bloody Roar.
I never played Bloody Roar. Was that an Xbox game?
Missing out. No, it's a fighting game in which you play your humans that can evolve into like a beast human hybrid mixture.
I only know about it because they talk about it all the time on GameScoop. Regardless, yeah, I think it'll be cool if like the very last boss gives you a glimpse of our full vision of the game, where like there is gonna be bestial zombies in the next game. It will be called Chimera Beast Mode. That's a terrible name. I don't know. We'll workshop that.
I was like, I hope not.
But will I play this game? No, I will not. I will not play this game. And will it be fun? I would never find out. Just because it's creepy, it's scary, and I don't play scary or creepy games. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. But now that we have a complete game, what game studio would you assign to be able to make Chimera the best?
Capcom.
But like, you know, they already have Resident Evil. This would literally just be Resident Evil 9. You know what I mean? If we gave it to them. It would be Resident Evil 9 Chimera.
How about Ninja Theory?
Ninja Theory is a good one. I just thought of one. Give me a second.
I mean, I
Do you have
think they'd
another
be
one?
prepared for the amount of violence.
Yeah. I want to give this to... Shit. That's funny. It's Ninja Theory.
Oh man,
Yeah,
told you it was a good idea.
Yeah, no, Ninja Theory would do really good. How about Japan Studios, the Bloodborne team? That's not Japan Studios. What's the Bloodborne team? The Demon Souls team? From Software. From Software.
Yeah,
Could definitely do something really good. If this became like a Souls-like zombie game, you know what I mean? Like, what if it became more Souls-like, and it was, instead of, there would be like an aspect of you having to die and come back and collect the body parts, I guess. I don't know. And the body parts maybe gave you a source of energy to keep going, I guess. And I think FromSoft would nail the vibe that we're going for.
I think id Software would do great.
Id would be awesome. Bethesda, we give it to Bethesda. I think Bethesda would do a cool zombie game. That's also id, but you know, any of the Bethesda people, like Bethesda legit, like Todd Howard with like the Skyrim, Fallout team, or even their Arcane Studios would also do something cool with it.
And I'd say, how about NetherRealm Studios?
They did
Creators of Mortal
Kombat, right? Okay, yeah, for sure. All right. Well, with that, our 155th IP has gone gold. We hope you look forward to this experience that will probably never release. You can write to @poundgames@gmail.com if you have anything patched into the game we created today. Also, give us feedback. We are still learning how to make the show better, and your feedback really helps. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to back our ideas, please head over to patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Patrons receive episodes 2 days early and an extra podcast at the beginning, which you caught the tail end of our conversation at the beginning of this episode. That's patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. If you like the show, why not subscribe and give us all the stars on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Store, Spotify, YouTube, and more. And if they ask for a review, instead of reviewing our show, become your inner game critic and review Chimera, the video game we just created. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next Friday with another new IP. Again, my name's Jay Yee.
And I'm AG.
Thank you, and please remember that we are not game devs.
Find me everywhere at Alex and Stuffs except for PSN. I'm Red0707.
What's going on? Are we doing plugs now? Find me at Pound Jay Yee on pretty much everything. Papers on PSN.
I'm just saying, if you want to play with me, I'm online nowadays. So if you want to play D2,
hey,
nothing beyond light.
This
literally, I have to stay behind the light.
This is a rare occurrence. Alex never plays games with people, so take him up on this. Red 0707654321.
No, I think it's just 0707. You would think.
So D2, like Diablo 2, right? Diablo 2 Resurrection. Are we playing that game together? Are we playing some Diablo 2 when that game comes out for everyone?
Yeah, if you want, we'll play.
Let's do it. I fucking love Diablo 2. I wish they were making Diablo 1.
Are they remaking it? Is it going to be good?
Diablo 2 is getting remade. I don't know about Diablo 1. I don't think they're doing Diablo 1. No one plays that game except for me. All right, let's stop the recording.